Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to High Quality Trades, the channel where I give you my highest quality technical analysis on the stock market, and we go over simple support and resistance levels, trend line breaks, and pattern formations. And I give you the price targets of where price should be headed tomorrow. All right, guys, let's get into it. In today's video, we will be going over the SPY, the triple Qs, the VIX, Facebook, Caterpillar stock, Google, Snowflake, AMD, Eli Lilly, Tesla, and IBM. We got a lot to go over, so let's get into it. First up, we got the SPY on the 4-hour time frame. Today, the SPY closed at 530.65. It reached a high of 531.29 and a low of 521.84. We were positive 2.31% on the day. Pretty bullish day overall. So what is price currently doing? So we have found support at this lower ascending trend line of this broadening wedge pattern that the SPY is forming. It does look like right now we're trying to get above 531.33 as resistance and then fill a gap up here at 532.73. If tomorrow morning we fill this gap, or say we gap above it, that is a bullish signal for price to push higher. And then we'll go all the way up to this 437.43 level, and we could break through that level and then go and test our next resistance level at 541.45. That would be very bullish for tomorrow. But say price does not manage to stay above the 531.33 level and we fall back down, that would be a bearish signal. Ultimately, we'll have support at this lower ascending trend line of the broadening wedge. But if that level broke, then we would be headed down to 524.01, and we could fall all the way down to 514.05. Those are the bullish and bearish scenarios for the SPY. Now, let's go over the triple Qs. So right now, the triple Qs has gotten above the 444.25 level of support, and we are pushing higher. We do have resistance up here at 456.10, and then we'll have some resistance at the descending trend line here, somewhere around 460. It looks like we do have another ascending trend line here. The price will have resistance at as well. So that's the bullish scenario. If we're able to get back above the 456 level, we could go and test 460. And if we broke this descending trend line, that would be very bullish for the market. I believe there's another gap out on the daily that fills at that 560 level. It looks like 559.75 to be exact. But say price falls lower in the morning and we break below this 444 level, then we should be headed back down to test support at 433.76. And if that level can't hold, then we will be headed down to the lows again at 420. But right now, things are looking okay at the moment for price to move a little bit higher tomorrow. Looks like this gap here would be at least a good price target for tomorrow. So if this gets filled, that may act as some resistance. But, okay, so that is it for the triple Qs. Now let's go over the VIX. So the VIX fell pretty much all day. Let's see. So not a good day for the VIX. It looks like we were falling for all of today. And we have gone and tested our support level here at 23.83. We are below the 200 period moving average on the 15-minute. So that is a bearish signal for the VIX to continue falling. And that's a bullish signal for the market to continue moving higher. But say this level holds as support, and we should be pushing back up to our next resistance level at 30.85, and we could be headed up to fill this gap on the 4-hour up here at 36.65 if we get some bearish news in the market. Ultimately, we're just going to have to see which way price goes tomorrow. All right, on to Facebook. So Facebook is breaking for the third time this descending trend line I have here on the charts. We have gotten above our 509.42 level, which is a bullish signal for price to head up to 531.37 in the coming days. That's what I'm looking for price to do, but say price does fall back below this 509.42 level. That does signal price to fall down to retest our descending trend line, and we could come down and test support here at 493.18. That would be the bearish scenario. Let's see, if we drop down into the 15-minute, it does look like we are above our 200 period moving average, and it is curling upwards, so that is a bullish signal for price to continue pushing higher. Ultimately, let's just see where price decides to go tomorrow. Okay, that's it for Facebook. Let's go on to Caterpillar stock. Lots of trendline breaks, or about to be trendline breaks here in today's video. So we have Caterpillar stock on the 4-hour time frame. With today's price action, we have gotten back above our resistance level here at 334. As long as we can stay above this level, and it does look like we're peeking our head back above this descending trend line here. And then we have another descending trend, a stronger sloping descending trend line that we could possibly be breaking out of to the upside with tomorrow morning's price action. It is a bullish signal for this stock to continue moving higher up to our 351.12 level. We could push above that and then head up to 364.53. Those are the next price targets if this stock remains in a bullish trend. But say Caterpillar stock breaks below 334.16, they will be headed back down to test support here at 318.81. And if that level couldn't hold, then ultimately we have support down here at 303.33. So those are the bullish and bearish scenarios on Caterpillar stock for the coming days. Let's just see where price goes tomorrow. All right, Google. On the 2-hour, Google has a descending triangle pattern on the charts that did break to the upside. So this one is looking bullish to push up to our next support level here at 166.43. Ultimately, there is a gap here on the 2-hour time frame that would fill somewhere around the 167.84 level. That's where I'm looking for price to go tomorrow and possibly get above. If we do get a full pattern completion of this descending triangle, then we would be reaching up towards 170.88 in the coming days. We do have a descending trend line on the charts where price will have some resistance at. So it looks like somewhere in the 173.36 range is where our next resistance level is. So that's the bullish scenario on Google. Let's go back in the 4-hour time frame. So I'll go over the bearish scenario. If Google cannot hold this support at 161.61, then we will be headed back down to test the lows of the descending triangle around 158.07. And if that level can't hold, then we'll be headed back down to 153.01 in the coming days. So let's see what price has in store for us on this one tomorrow. Let's go over Snowflake stock. So guys, we have been talking about this one for a while. It does look like with today's price action, we are finally peeking our head above this descending trend line for the second time. If we are able to get above the 122.68 level, this is a bullish signal for price to push up to 132.53 in the coming days. We will first need to break above the lows here at 125.20 to ultimately push to that level. So really, that's our next resistance level to break above before we could possibly go test this 132 level. But right now, we're just barely peeking our head above this trend line. So we're going to have to see if price continues pushing higher. We do have our MACD and our RSI trading in our favor. So that's a bullish signal. But let's go over the bearish one just in case. So if Snowflake stock does not get above this 122.68 level, then we will be headed back down to test the lows around 110.37 tomorrow. And if that level broke, we don't have any support really until the lows actually of 107.93. Okay, guys, that is Snowflake stock. Let's go over AMD. Looks like AMD is breaking out of a falling wedge right now. So that does signal price to push higher up to this 139.92 level tomorrow. And if we break above this, then we should be headed up to the 153.35 level. If we do get a full pattern completion of this falling wedge, looks like it does put price somewhere in the 150.48 level, and I would say we'd go and test the highs here at 153. So that's the bullish scenario of this broadening wedge if it plays out. But if we cannot stay above the 131.99 level and say we get back below, then we will be headed down to the 125.17 level, which is our next support level. If that level broke, we don't have support until until the lows here actually of 120.69. That's what we're looking for price to do tomorrow and possibly Friday. So let's go over Eli Lilly. This one had a monster day with earnings. I guess their earnings were quite surprising. Yeah, 1.3 billion, surprise to the upside. Very good. I watched this stock quite a bit. Eli Lilly seems to do nothing but go up. It is a monster of a stock. And Eli Lilly is a very particular company. It does tend to only care about making its stockholders happy. So this short-term downtrend that Eli Lilly was in for the past few weeks was probably a very good opportunity for people to load up on this stock. Right now we've broken above the 838 level, so that does put price pushing a little bit higher up to our next resistance level of 885.56. If we're able to break above that, I believe there is a gap out on the daily that does need to be filled, that would start filling around 909.90 and ultimately doesn't fill until 940. So with the break of the trend line, that is very bullish for this stock to continue moving higher. Okay, that's the bullish scenario. Let's say, just for fun, let's go over the bearish scenario. So if Eli Lilly cannot stay above the 838.35 level, then we will be headed lower down to our next support level at 794.31. Maybe a retest of our descending trend line would be in store also, which would reside somewhere in that level. It could be as low as 781. That's what I'm looking for the bullish and bearish scenarios to happen on Eli Lilly. All right, Tesla stock. This one does have, I think it's on the 2-hour-ish. So Tesla is testing the lower level of this price channel that it's in. So this descending trend line here, it is acting as support at the current moment. And we have formed a pennant pattern here on the charts that we did break out of with the post-market action that we had at the end of today. So right now we're looking for price to push higher. If we get a full pattern completion of this pennant, it does put price pushing all the way up to the upper descending trend line of this price channel, somewhere around 222.76. We would first need to break above this 212.82 level, which is our next level of resistance. There is a gap here that does need to be filled, somewhere around 208.11 as well. So if this is going to continue pushing on higher, we first need to break above these resistance levels. Say we break back down into this pennant pattern, then we do have support at this lower ascending trend line of the pennant, which would be somewhere around the lows here of 188.50. That's what a bearish scenario would be. And say we break down out of this pennant pattern, well, it does put price pushing all the way down to 165. But right now I'm leaning bullish due to the break of this pennant pattern at the lower level of this price channel. So I would say most likely scenario is we come up and test this upper descending trend line of this price channel. That would put us pushing back above our weekly descending trend line. It would be very bullish for Tesla if we were able to get back above the descending trend line here that we've been unable to stay above for the majority of the past 3 years. So if we do get back above that, it's a very bullish signal. Ultimately, we're just going to have to see which way price goes tomorrow. All right, our last stock. Let's go over IBM. So IBM is currently breaking out of a descending triangle pattern, and it does look like we're reaching towards the 193.32 level tomorrow. If price gets above this level, then we should be pushing higher up to our 199.39 level. If this pattern completes, it would put price all the way up here at 205.83 in the coming days. This is a possible scenario. We would come up and retest the highs here. Ultimately, that does put price pushing to new all-time highs on IBM stock. So that's a bullish signal right now. As long as we can stay above this 93 level tomorrow, then that is all a possible scenario to happen in the coming days. Let's go over a bearish scenario. If we cannot break above this 93 level, then we will be falling back down to test support at 187.46. We could be headed all the way back down to test the lows of this descending triangle pattern at 182.35. That would actually just signal a further pattern formation because price would end up doing. So in this pattern, usually we get 3 touches in each direction. So it is possible that we don't break out of this pattern until we get another test of this lower support level of the descending triangle. But right now we are breaking above the upper trend line of this triangle pattern, so that is bullish. So right now I'm leaning bullish on this one. Ultimately, we're going to have to see what price does tomorrow. Alright guys, and with that, that is the end of this video. Thank you for watching High Quality Trades. I wish you the best in your trading. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.